Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. We got our word of the day, Kaffeeklatsch. Our word of the day is an informal social gathering in which coffee is served. Gossip or informal gathering where coffee is served. The highlight of the neighborhood get-togethers was the Kaffeeklatsch that always followed. So let's go to our S&P 500 heat map. We've got kind of a mixed bag. Communications are down. Consumer cyclical. Tesla is up big again today. Microsoft, Apple seem to be the leaders. Healthcare is kind of a mixed bag. Industrials seem to be up. Financials are kind of bouncing back. And basic materials and utilities are kind of a mixed bag. And it looks like energy sector is bouncing back. So that's our heat map. So if you're concerned about a hard landing where it's a really bad recession like 2008 where the market went down 54%, you don't have enough time to recover from an event like that, this might be a good place to put your money. You never lose money. When the market goes up, you make money. And it beats index investing by about 5% per year. And right now they're providing bonuses of 25 to 45% on any new money coming in. So that's the story there. Let's go to our charts. This is commercial services. That's just been having an internet problem, so hopefully things will remain stable. So this is our dollar index pulling back a little bit today. Silver pulling back as well. Gold is pulling back, and copper continues its pullback. Barrel was the strongest copper index, sold off a little bit and is trying to bounce back. Look at our bonds are actually gapping up today of 4.28, 4.3%. 20-year bond yield is gapping up as well. So that's the story there. Take a look at the VIX. VIX is pulling down. S&P 500 looks like it's breaking out of this little shelf pattern here. Equal weighted S&P trying to get back to its 50-day moving average. The NASDAQ just continues roaring. And looks like we got a pretty good move on the equal weight here. That's refreshing. The small cap, it's bouncing. And the Dow Jones, pretty flat right here. So let's go. We didn't do our chart over the weekend, so that was our word of the day for the weekend. Pervious, allowing water to pass through, permeable. So we still on, this is Bitcoin, still believe it can pull back to 64,000. It tried to go up to 67 and then it pulled back. This is Dow Jones on Friday, kind of bounced. Thought we were going to have a little bit of a bounce on the Dow. then here's the NASDAQ. We've got a pretty good positive green candle. Volume is a little lower, but we thought it could move higher, which it has so far. S&P pretty much the same as the NASDAQ. Felt it could move higher, and it has this morning. And looks like we had a sale red light. It did bounce, but it is pulling back right now. Look like it. We got angles on both the stochastics and CCI, so we'll continue to watch the VIX. And this is kind of what's happening in the news. Superpowers rising. BRICS hold over 43. British, Russia, India, China, and I guess that would be South America, and Saudi Arabia is going to join as well. Represent nearly half of the global population. Russia calls on the BRICS to abandon the US dollar for trade settlements. Russia declares the US enemy of state for the first time. So BRICS control 47% of global oil, US just 2.1%. And they call for enhanced use of local currencies in trade between member countries. Not sure if that's going to be gold or, so this is kind of a look at the G7 and the BRICS. Not sure if this is going to be gold that they're going to be buying oil with, but they are buying a lot of gold to, spruce up their local currencies, especially China. The Fed quietly admits gold is replacing the dollar as collapse fear predicted to trigger a big move in Bitcoin price. And California minimum wage mandate causes maximum damage. So this is the inflation-adjusted U.S. government spending. Just look at this gigantic move in spending since, I believe it's since 2020. And this is a government interest expense as it crosses above $1 trillion. And then this is the US dollar, consistently depreciated since the 1930s, losing its purchasing power very aggressively. Look at all of this. So that is the story of my PowerPoint for the weekend. Let's go back to our charts. We got our news of the day. Advanced Auto Parts said late Friday it identified unauthorized activity within the third-party cloud database environment containing its data on May 23rd, and a criminal threat actor offered what it alleged to be a company data for sale on June 4th. It is actually bouncing. I'm not sure if it has to do with that news, but that is the story with them. Best Buy upgraded to buy from neutral at UBS, and it is breaking out of this consolidation, out of this buy pivot area. Starbucks mentioned positively in Barron, saying shares look oversold after soft demand and increased competition in China contributed to a 6% international decline in same-store sales in the second quarter. So they're trying to get above their 50-day moving average. Zillow Group reached an antitrust agreement with a set of multiple listing services that accused of conspiring to block Zillow's tour booking software platform. So actually Zillow is pulling back on that news. Onto energy, industrials, and materials. Grief upgraded to buy from neutral at Bank of America. Initially tried to move up, and now it's selling off, up 1%. Louisiana Pacific downgraded to sell from neutral at Goldman Sachs, and they have sold off, gap down. kind of in the middle of the transaction where it's moved today, down nearly 5%. Primo Water and an affiliate of beverage company Blue Triton Brands have agreed to merge in an all-stock transaction to bring together a diversified portfolio of water brands and introduce synergies across the business. Would create a water giant of 6.5 billion in annual revenue, moved up higher today and then is sold off, up 3.4%. Lithium miners, Albemarle, and Arcadium Lithium, mentioned positively by KeyBank, saying with destocking largely having played out, now sees potential recovery in lithium prices. So they are moving down. Let's see, Albemarle, go back to that one. Yeah, they're both continue their downtrend. Not sure if this one will pop up. It does. British prosecutors investigating former Glencore PLC employees over bribery allegations. So they continue trending down. Financials. Carlyle Group is exploring a sale of Cogenix Energy. The financial reports reported late Friday, and they continue moving down. Capital One Financial said the May domestic credit card net charge-off rate of 6.13 versus 6.07. Pulled back down in this oscillating box, and they bounced a little bit today. Discover Financial Services credit card delinquency rate 1.64% at May end versus 1.68. So they improved and they are bouncing on that news. And JP Morgan credit card delinquency rate of 0.82% at May end versus 8.81 at April end, with a charge-off rate of 1.53%. And they're just kind of holding flat there. Almost looks like a volatility contraction pattern here. We'll just continue to watch that. Amgen and healthcare said the FDA approved Blincyto to Tumomab for CD19, COVID-19 positive Philadelphia chromosome negative be all in the consolidation of phase regardless of measurable residential disease status. So that's interesting. Grifols SA said the FDA has approved its drug Yimmugo to treat primary immunodeficiency disorder, PID. Drug is ready to use a solution for antibody use. So that is a story with Grifols. On to Takeda, announces phase 3 top-line results in patients with Dravet syndrome, and it bounces slightly up 0.31%. And finally, technology, media, and telecom, Autodesk, activist Starboard Value, has a $500 million stake in the software maker. Autodesk is weighing legal action over the company's delayed disclosure of an internal investigation into accounting malfeasance. And interesting, their stock is really moving up, gapped up, and it is at the high today, up nearly 7%. Meta will delay its launch of the Meta AI chatbot in Europe after regulators on the continent requested the company pause its plan to train its large language models with posts from users there. So Meta is continuing on this kind of a cup formation. We'll see if this is the handle. Looks a little bit like a handle as it pulls back here to 500. There was another Meta that I noticed over the weekend. This is a 2 times bull on Meta. Going to pull back pretty strongly on the pullback on the handle, but this might be something that you want to take a look at. And the Securities and Exchange Commission has been investigating Elon Musk's late disclosure purchases of Twitter stock prior to taking over the company, the Wall Street Journal reported. And that's our news of the day. So let us go to what is up 200%. Where, here we go. There's only one issue, which is Mirum Pharmaceuticals. Look at this nice move, up 21%. Wow, must be some sort of drug result because earnings aren't for 45 days. See what is moving on 5%. We've got Rocky Brands. We got 12 items. Rocky Brands moving up. Got some pretty good volume over here when it gapped up. We haven't looked at this one for a while. Oscar continues pulling back. OLLI's bargain brand. Pretty huge volume. 2 days in a row, it is just moving on up. Maybe a delayed action to the earnings. It did gap up on the earnings and pull back. I guess that was your opportunity. Golar in the liquid natural gas area is moving up. Verona Pharmaceuticals up a little over 10%. Luckin Coffee. I think this one was the one that was going to be delisted for manipulation of some sort, but it is must be still on the market as up 6%. ADSK we looked at earlier. This is Cactus in the oil and gas area, making pressure control. Pretty big up move here, a little over 5%. Wow, look at Greenwich. We haven't looked at this one for a while. It looks like it could be a breakout here. Or you could draw the line right here. Pen is not quite working. There we go. Could do it that way as well. Next in the list is BioRad. Looks like it's clearing the 50-day moving average. Sonda Retirement Homes. Senior Living. Got a gap up a little over 5%. And Flex Steel Industries. Looks like it's moving on up. We haven't looked at this one for a while. BLTE. When we saw Greenwich Life Sciences, just made me think of them. Had a big sell-off consolidation here, came back up to the buy area, and it looked like it tried to break out last week and is pulling back today off about 2%. Let's take a look what we're currently trading. Denison Mines had a big pullback, tried to bounce here, got up to its 50-day, got turned away, and it's bouncing today. Netflix kind of looked like it broke out last week, continues to move today. Weatherford's getting a bounce. Kava minute training grill, bouncing off of the 10-day moving average. It's been kind of consolidating in here. Still looks pretty healthy, up 4%. NVIDIA just keeps on motoring. Microsoft. So look at MicroStrategy. We're currently not in this. Kind of waiting to see if Bitcoin will hit 64,000. Did pull back to close 65,124. So we're just kind of continuing to watch this. Did bounce off its 50-day moving average, but we're not in a hurry to get back into it right now. No Beauty bouncing off of its 10-day moving average. Nice cup with handle. We'll see if we can get into the breakout area. Brothers Coffee, this is the other one that I really like. Pretty odd shaped base here. Pulled back to 26.85. We did buy right in this area. Bounce, came up here. Had a stop on, hit our stops, and then we got back in at 34.55, and then we bought the $36 options, 3 of them. Sold one of them at 122% gain, and we hold the other 2. So that is that one. 4 shift 4 payments, kind of bouncing around. Not sure if this is quite a cup formation, but it's just hanging around its 20-day moving average. We do have the 62.5 call options on this one. We do have Meta. We had some covered calls on it. We bought all those back. So continue to trade Meta, Netflix, Microsoft. Lore got a pretty strong pullback last week. It's trying to bounce, but we continue to hold this. We do have the $65 call options, which probably will expire at the end of the week. So we could put on another $65 call option. Continuing on in the aviation, we did take a profit on Aero Environment, 218, 219, had a pretty strong pullback to the 20-day today, but it is bouncing. FTAI, the other one did pull back on Friday and it got a pretty strong bounce today, up a little over 4%. Continue to hold NetApp. Pulled back to the 10-day this morning and got a pretty strong bounce. CrowdStrike got a gap up here on the earnings. Well, actually, here's a gap up on the earnings. And this, I believe, is the inclusion of the S&P 500. And it just continues moving on up at a pretty good rate. So we have the 320 call options, which we'll take advantage of on Friday. So, and then we bought some ARM over on Friday. It's trading kind of tightly right here. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 days tight in a row. We'll see if it gets to this breakout area. And that's ARM. Yeah, it kind of like what we're trading right now. So I hope everybody has a great Monday, great start to your week. Go out there and make a difference. Keep working on your goals and your activities, and keep surprising everybody around you. If we can help you with your financial goals or activities, feel free to reach out to us. In the meantime, have an amazing week. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence. In the meantime, be well.